Undergrunt Podcast Network.
Let's move it, you turds!
You get no sympathy from me.
You want sympathy? Look in the dictionary between shit and syphilis.
That's where you'll find my sympathy.
This ain't no walk in the park.
Let's go.
Hustle, hustle, hustle.
Hey, Dumbo. You should be able to fly through those tubes with the big ass ears, boy.
Yeah, Dumbo fly, baby fly.
Hey, Williams.
You too, Marty Matlin, son.
If you don't get across that rope,
I'ma hang you with it.
he'll hang you with it.
Heathcote, you get your fat body over that wall.
Get your fork back body over that.
You shut up.
Nobody leaving here until you can get off this wall in 1 minute and 20 seconds.
Come on, he can't do it.
Leave him alone. I can barely.
It's slippery out here.
Slippery, he says.
Does Charlie care about Slippery?
The only thing he knows is to slit your throat.
A small little ship in the center of Mars was a sack of souls with experiment scars. When the psychedelic monk said, I'll take two, and he put them in a rocket and he ate a lot of glue. And he shot them straight to Earth where they turned into babies. They were named from that, and they rarely got rabies. And the monk made a movie of their whole entire lives. They were panoramic scenes and zooms of the time. And one time Bob had sex with a ladle, and one time Matt lost a vet to a cradle, and another time Bob caught a dinosaur mom, and another time Matt bought a replica of Guam. And all this more is on a DVD set, only $20.99 with the purchase of a gem. But if you call right now and say, where's my whisk, we'll include this bonus disc.
Hey! God, that was good. Hey, everybody, how are you? Welcome to Bonus Disc! I'm gonna give Matt a coronary, I swear to God. It's like my goal now.
That was a good one.
This is the 50th episode.
Yay.
Hey, with me is Matt. Say hi.
Hi.
You okay?
Yes.
My eyes are burning. All right, and with us is a friend of the show, number one friend of the show, Shawn Jones,
Hey, everybody.
and Kathy Carson.
Hey.
He's like our secret government, like black organization
Yeah,
that nobody even
I've got
knows
a
about.
secret file of
Sean's actually-
shitty movies.
Everything that me and Matt say is Sean's legally responsible.
Right.
So please direct all problems to him.
Yeah.
So for the 50th, we decided to watch a delightful movie about human compassion and love.
And fair treatment of women.
Yeah, no, like it's really.
We
a
decided
utopian
no more of this
society.
garbage. Yeah.
It's sort of like a utopia.
Oh yeah.
We wanted to give back with a review finally.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
It's true.
let the public know about something good for once. We watched. I guess the title that we're going with is "Humanoids from the Deep."
Or monster, yeah.
A monster.
Parentheses humanoids
Creatures from the deep, or
Or
something.
Humanoids.
beneath the
Humanoids.
surface.
Beneath the surface.
darkness.
Beneath the darkness.
Oh, yes, yes.
That movie doesn't exist.
Dude, I want to watch Beneath the Darkness.
I don't. That movie's boring as shit.
Oh, I know. That's why I'm sorry. But at least it's tasteful.
Right.
Yeah, at least it's not
It's not,
depressing.
though. It's like that movie is just like it's slow until it's time for men to die.
Yes.
And then it's
And then a
just
lot of men
super
die.
gory because he said that like all the gore from that was in the original movie.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
you're
right. You're
to
right.
explain what we're talking about,
Okay.
we watched the Roger Corman movie Humanoids from the Deep.
Yes.
And then we also watched the making of the movie, which is extremely
important.
important.
Yeah.
I feel like we got to talk about the making of a little before we get into the movie because you know what I mean. Like before we break
Yeah.
the movie down.
Right.
This movie is not really a movie. It's 80 minutes and it's two things spliced together, sort of. Right?
Well, yeah, because basically they had the first director, the female director,
Barbara Peters,
Barbara Peters,
who is not in the documentary.
Good
Right.
Lord, yeah. There's a reason. But she did the first one, or she did the movie called Beneath the Darkness, which is what she thought.
was filming Beneath the Darkness.
She was
right.
filming Beneath the Darkness, which was a quote-unquote psychological thriller that also involved monster-ish people in it.
It's the same monster.
Same monster. But
she
hers,
was making like Inception with those monsters.
Yeah.
You know, she was like really
Yeah,
serious about it.
well, yeah, like she her female characters were strong and could fight. And then there was the other movie.
Well, the plot of the movie is it's about sea creatures who are mutated from some type of salmon science.
Salmon science.
Salmon science.
Salmon science. And they come on shore to impregnate women. and
Yes.
basically raped them.
Yeah.
Right.
They evolved to
And-
the point where they have to mate with humans now to further the species and the evolution.
Right. And Roger Corman wasn't happy with the way she was tastefully shooting the rape.
Yeah, he goes-
He's like,
suggestively with shadows.
just-
Shadows,
Yeah.
yes. Tastefully.
And he was
like,
like, well, you just couldn't
graphically.
see it.
It
You
was
couldn't
all
see
implied.
It,
I
And that's
just
what people
I
want.
couldn't tell what was happening.
okay, let me
That's
also.
what people want, Shawn. They want to see forced penetration on film.
Muddy,
God.
bloody, beaten.
By monsters.
let me also.
Not even human beings.
No, a giant
Let me
Pac-Mans with
also-
algae.
If any
Kathy,
rape
like-
was
sorry,
I'm just saying, if any rape
Would you
was
let
going to be
the-
like obscured in shadow,
Why don't you let
maybe...
the female give her opinion?
No, because she's not going to say it right. I learned a lot from watching this
That's
movie.
why we brought Shawn in, so he would give the better opinion.
Oh my
I
god.
was paying attention. All right,
I
guys.
thought we needed another man to fix Kathy's opinion. Go ahead.
Roger Corman's my hero. Continue.
So it should be noted that while Roger Corman is talking about adding rape to this movie, he looks and speaks like a very soft-spoken grandpa that has probably felt up a niece at a Christmas party, like at one point when he's too drunk. Like, and there's just this weird quiet intensity as Roger Corman explains that there needs to be more visceral rape on screen for people to be interested in a movie.
And in no uncertain terms. It's
No.
not like we're
Yeah,
like
and his-
exaggerating.
and
We're
his
actually
opinion,
toning it
the way
down
he
a little
delivers
bit.
it is unflinching.
Yes.
Like, he's just like, this is what needed to happen, and we did it.
Listen,
Yes.
you
He's
know,
like, no question. He's
we,
like,
we hired a woman to shoot some rape scenes, and
she
they
dropped the
just
ball,
weren't.
frankly.
We had to hire a man to
Yeah,
get
so
the
he
rape done
literally was
correctly.
like, so we hired a man as the second location
But
director
it
or
was
whatever.
her assistant director.
Yeah.
He made the second unit director so he could film people being raped by
It's
monsters.
so horrible. It's like,
Yeah, dude.
it's on. They all talk about it. It's all these white dudes
Yes.
talking about how they did this with complete no shame.
No, absolutely
None at
no
all.
They're like
shame.
grinning at the camera.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, we were
Wait,
like,
what's-
there ain't enough rape in this motherfucker, right?
What's that one guy's
Dude.
name? Mike Goldblatt, the
Mark
editor?
Goldblatt.
Mark Goldblatt.
He edited Bad Boys 2
Bad
and
Boys
T2.
2. Yep,
He's
And
a
he-
talented man.
he is.
And he's just sitting there like, well, we shot this thing, and it just wasn't like, and he does talk like that, but like, he's like, we shot this thing, and like, it just wasn't reading right. It just wasn't reading right. And I just figured, like, we cut out all the fat, we cut out all the stuff we didn't need, but then it just was missing something, so we had to put rape in. Like,
So
the
they
movie is
say
like
that- they
40
say-
minutes of rape.
Yeah.
They say the word rape too. It's
Yeah,
not
they
Yes.
use the yeah.
we're not exaggerating
No.
it to say it. They say it in the making of. They're
Yeah.
not.
They're like,
They
there
weren't
was-
implying it or anything. It was like they're just saying straight up.
I mean, yeah.
They were their own focus group, and the answer was more rape. It's insane.
And then they talk about how like the actress, the one actress who's in the one scene of the movie that looks like it was shot way after the one who's
Carol Hill.
Carol Hill.
Yeah.
She talks about how they went to the premiere and they just watched this other movie that no one really knew existed.
Right. Well, the best was the shower scene when she's just like, they asked me to do a shower scene. I said no. I'll go to the premiere, and then there's this hot girl in the shower. I'm like,
Right.
what the fuck?
Yeah. It's rough, man. It's some rough stuff.
And it's not erotic nudity either.
No.
It's
Hell
like
no.
mean.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
It's
one of the
super
scenes
mean.
that they inserted was literally a scene where a guy with a ventriloquist dummy was trying to fuck his
Wait,
girlfriend.
we'll talk about
Kat,
that.
We're gonna get to that. We're gonna
Do
get
not.
to it. We gotta
That
break
is
it
the
down.
best
No, you're
fucking
right
scene
though.
I've
That
ever
is an
seen.
amazing scene.
That they literally put in there.
Yeah.
They literally put
That
in
they were
there.
like, there was like this serious.
That's why we
fish
need to talk
rape
about
movie,
this.
and then they're like, nah, let's put it ventriloquist dummies and
A
more.
movie that also barely hangs together at all as a narrative. It's insane.
Well, it's because of what they're saying where they
Right.
added stuff. I didn't realize when it showed the mother, like Carol and her son at the house, was
Yeah.
the first time I went, wow, them and the other people that have been dying are so disconnected.
Right.
Yeah.
Like that's when it dawned
and
on
also
me.
that whole scene seemed to
and
me that
also-
was probably part of the first movie.
Yeah.
The bee storyline is also completely disconnected from the victims. It's like, you know what I mean? The whole
Yeah.
salmon fishery
Yes.
thing. It's so disconnected.
It's
a
just kind of
different movie.
in there.
Vic Moreau is in a different movie than
Absolutely.
Carol Hill.
Yes.
Is
Dude,
it?
and
It's
when you
completely
think about it,
different
like when
movie.
I was talking in the movie and I was like, why does everybody's head look so fucking crazy and
Yeah.
weird? those people were in the real movie, and then all the young, sexy kids that get their clothes ripped off and murdered are in everything they added.
Well, that's
Like
and that's
literally
pretty
the
much
B movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Right.
Because Carol Hill says, like, it was this other movie, and then they brought in all the sexiness. Well, it wasn't really sexy.
Well,
but-
she said teenagers and sex.
Yeah.
Right. So, like, them having sex in the back of the truck probably was added. Because there's, like, this
'Cause that
old
was the guy
person,
getting a
like, hoedown for fish.
We'll get to
happening.
it.
Yeah, right. Okay, we're going to get to it. But just know that happened, and that director was not on this making of, and she probably fucking hates this movie, and Roger Corman.
Dude,
Yeah.
the guy,
Oh my
when they
God.
showed the second unit director, he looked
Right.
like he just was at a strip club or something.
Yes.
He was, I loved
I
him.
mean, it
he
was
was the most, like,
incredible.
he was a man.
There's no
He was
shame in
very
their
much a
eyes
man.
at all.
He
There's
knew.
no, like, they made me do this, I needed money.
No, they were
just
like,
I'm
you had to do
sorry.
Not really. I mean, he went on the set of She's All That, just like knowing what he had done in the past
what
and
he worked
hoping
on?
it would
Yes.
happen again.
He was an assistant director for She's All That.
I didn't hear you say that.
He's sitting there watching
You know-
the dailies like,
I think it'd be sexier if she lost the glasses, and maybe it's just me. Maybe that'll be the turning point.
Oh,
if
God.
you take your glasses off, and somebody's gonna rape this woman. I'm telling you, it's all evil.
Do we have any creature costumes?
It's the only thing you ever got interviewed for. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
like, he's
it's-
like, well, I'm known for being the guy
Right.
who shot all these awesome rape scenes people love.
That's like, no, this is the one time
It's sick.
somebody was like, give us your opinion on camera.
Right.
yes.
Yeah.
There's no way anyone's ever asked them that before.
Nobody asked the second assistant director anything on anything else. Trust me.
All right. God,
I'm
man.
famous for
Right.
rape.
This is some, like,
This dude's
depressing
insane.
shit.
Yeah.
And that's why I wanted to watch it, because me and Shawn had watched this before, and my God.
We wanted
It
to
is
share our
jaw
pain.
dropping.
It's
Once
jaw
you watch
dropping.
the interviews with
It's-
them, you're just like, who are you? You're monsters.
You know what? It's a good picture of maybe, like, a little bit of old Hollywood, as far
It's
as...
definitely
totally.
like
It's a great picture of how that could just happen.
Oh, they also interview that woman who played Miss Salmon.
Miss Salmon.
Oh.
Who is just a woman in a bikini
She's just-
who gets her
And
top
then Mark
ripped off.
Goldblatt talks about how he had to edit her getting her top ripped off and everything.
Yeah,
And the insert
like
her
it's
tits being out.
important.
Yeah.
It's insane.
that-
It was important to him, though. It was important to him. It was very clear
They were acting
that
like
was
they were
important
Rick
to him.
Baker, like someone interviewing him after the thing came out, being like, "So how'd you do that?"
Yeah.
It's like if they're tits, and you put hundreds of them in the movie, like, you didn't do anything. It was nuts. They're talking about it like they're doing things.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
And apparently it was a hit when it was out. Can you
Supposedly.
imagine like people
I mean,
going
I
back
don't-
for seconds on that?
I don't know
Like,
what his standards are for that,
Go
though.
back for...
When he said
I
the
gotta
audience
see
went
that
crazy, I can't guarantee that, like, that means that, like, the audience was large.
Right.
You know what I mean? He said the audience went nuts at this part, and I'm like, yeah, okay,
Right.
but, like,
Dude, through
if there's 10 people in a movie theater,
Well,
like,
this
through
is still
his
well,
lens,
no,
the
this is
person
like
standing up and start beating his wife and raping her in the theater would have been like,
well,
people
this
are going
is
nuts over this.
Maybe the
movie.
theater was
this
just
is
filled
still
with, like, teenage
driving.
boys.
This is still driving.
Oh,
like at the
yeah.
end of the drive-in double feature era.
Dude,
you
no
know,
one was
like
watching this. They were
42nd
fucking in a
Street was
car.
still around.
No one was
Yeah.
watching what was on the screen. They
They
were
were going
fucking...
nuts. It was
Yeah,
an
they
orgy.
They went
going
nuts
nuts.
for it.
They were all having sex and they didn't even pay attention to how, like...
They were like the
heinous
humanoids
this
from the
shit
deep
is.
during the movie.
Well, I mean,
All
we'll
right.
get to it.
We
There's
got,
a-
We'll get to it.
Okay,
Yeah.
we're
There's a
gonna start-
very strong reason to check out of this movie within the first 5 minutes.
yeah.
It's a
And it
shame
isn't
too because there's
all
some
the rape.
legitimately like crazy shit in it that's fun, and it's
And
not fun because what it's
And the
framed
effects,
with.
the effects are
The
really
effects are
good.
for what it is.
Yeah,
it's
it's
pretty
really
good.
good.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about the movie.
All right.
Because instead of what the movie is,
So it opens up like Jaws, like,
Yeah.
literally.
it's a Jaws wannabe in kind of a
Yeah.
lot of ways.
And probably the original was
Was
straight
intent-
up just Jaws.
I think Barbara Peters intended a Jaws.
yeah,
Right.
yeah,
thing,
but
she
with a
did.
monster instead of an
Yeah.
actual shark.
Or-
Oh, yeah, that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
Poor
Or
Barbara.
salmon. Poor Barbara. It's just-
Hashtag poor Barbara.
I know.
That's the
God,
hashtag
poor
for this
Barbara
episode.
Peters.
Poor Barbara Peters.
I want to
So-
write her a letter now and just be like,
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Men, right?
Oh man.
In the opening scene, it's a bunch of people on a dock talking about fishing, and well, one guy says the line, which I can't believe they put in this movie. Is he says we're gonna get all those holes filled. He says that exact line to somebody. He's like, "Hey, buddy, we're not done until we get all those holes filled." And then the rest of this movie happened, which is fucking amazing.
That was like an on-set improv
Right.
recording. He's like, no, wait, say this. Foreshadowing. All right.
Unbelievable.
Unfucking believable. Well, they're arguing about the number of salmon. There's a lot of talk about salmon. They're arguing about how much salmon is available and how much they're catching.
Right. Isn't they established the salmon festival before they even get on the boat?
Yeah,
right?
so it's happening. This is when when we see the dad and the fat kid. He's not really fat. The kid.
A pudgy kid.
The
He's
pudgy
a
But we're
kid.
introduced to John Eagle before then, right?
Yeah.
Because they get into an argument before they leave.
John
That's
Eagle,
right. Mhm.
John Eagle's this like Indian guy who lives in a shed away from the town, I guess, down the river.
Didn't even have to add in that whole.
Yeah, they make a bunch of
depressing.
racist comments about him. It's interesting.
Yeah, if the rape wasn't bad enough, it is super, super racist.
Yeah, like just to add on to everything.
But he's like you're they're talking about how great the canning company coming in at the festival is going to be, and he shows up and he's just like, you're ruining the lands.
Yeah.
You're overfishing and stuff, and they're just like, you're a fucking piece of shit.
But they also
Right.
like know that they have like the science is helping them, right?
Oh
Like,
yeah, was that introduced?
Yeah,
I don't
no,
know.
they
Okay.
introduced that.
They said
Maybe
so.
not in the first scene, but like very early on,
the
she like makes a
characters are
throwaway
aware
line.
that they're
Doing
that's what's
stuff.
I'm sure he's
Right,
aware too.
right.
That's what they're doing. They're
Okay.
manipulating the
The
wildlife.
salmon.
I mean, someday, somehow, playing all these racist characters is going to catch up with Vic Morrow. I'm not sure
Yeah.
how that's going to turn out.
Yeah.
for
Oh, yeah,
him,
but yeah, so, and then,
That's when it's
he
the
should cut
fat
it
kid
out.
on the boat.
right, and then, like, yeah, they go out on the boat because they're going fishing, and they almost catch a monster.
Right? And they have to. They can't reel it in.
Yeah.
And then they're like,
Oh, and the gas is out.
start the winch, and the kid's like, "What? Forgot to put the gas in the winch."
We've
Right.
been out here for 4 hours.
Yeah, and then the kid spills the gas all
Oh
over
my
the
god.
deck.
All
And you know
over.
what's happening as soon as
Yeah.
that
Oh
happens.
my
yeah,
God.
and then he's like, "Come over here and help us pull it in." And then the monster like is
Tugs
pulling on
on
the
it.
net. The kid falls in.
And immediately
This kid's
gets
Immediately
gets eaten.
And like, there's just tons of like gallons of blood
Oh
everywhere.
yeah, and he's like, "My son." It's like,
It's
he's
like,
gone,
no,
man.
look at
It's-
this. There's
The other guy
nothing.
runs into the cab to load a flare gun
Yes.
to like signal for help, and of
And then
course
he
he
trips.
trips and shoots the gas with a flare gun.
It's like
and the
the-
whole boat explodes.
It's like the opening of Naked Gun with O.J. Simpson.
dude,
all the
it kind of
actions
is.
just all
Yeah.
happen like.
But I
Yeah.
like the pacing of that scene because the net tugging and the water and the blood in the water and the screaming took forever, and then it was like,
Right.
it's just over.
Oh.
Everybody's dead.
Guess
Yeah.
they're dead.
Yeah.
It's a miniature that blows up too.
Well,
yeah.
and it's just so funny how many explosions are in this movie, and they're all huge explosions
right.
for something
Practical,
that
it's
probably
great.
would not have exploded
Oh,
that
hell
much,
no.
or at all.
No. Was
Like-
the boat filled with gas?
Yeah,
Well, the
right.
monsters have gasoline for blood.
Yeah.
They just didn't say.
They-
They were just
they
hauling.
don't-
It's the annual gas haul. Good day for gas out on the water.
Because like I said, the boat vaporizes, man. It's like
Yeah.
it goes up hard. I don't think a little bit of gas on the deck would do that.
No.
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 No. So
But
that kid would have died.
nonetheless.
The kid would have died anyway. Is
Yeah.
the funny part. It's not really funny, but it's like
Well, the kid was dead anyway. Yeah,
that's
the
what I'm
boat
saying.
didn't
Like,
explode.
oh no, he died, and then the entire boat exploded. Like,
Well, the
well,
boat
I
had to
don't
explode so that the men
I
couldn't be
know.
like the monster ate my son yet.
Right.
You know what I mean? It
I
had
know.
to stay hidden.
and
Come on,
that's
Bob.
when the
This
guy
is-
with the
this is
head.
quality written
I
material.
know. That's when the guy with the head
You're
showed up.
unfolding a story. Delicately, it's like unfolding origami,
I'm
man.
sorry, I'm just so bored because of how tastefully all the male deaths were shot. That's when we meet the guy with the big head. What's his name? What's the character name?
No, I don't.
Fuck, who cares?
Who cares?
Head guy.
Nobody.
Yeah.
Nobody has a name in this
It's
movie.
not-
Let's just call him the head.
The head, and his boat see it, and he's gonna like report on it, right?
You know, it's funny. I can't remember his name, but his boat's name was Beverly Jean. I can
Right.
remember that.
And one of the other posts was Nip Tuck.
Yes.
Nip and tuck.
Nip and Tuck, right? Preceded the series. Nip
Yeah.
and Tuck.
He goes to report it, etc. And then it's just kind of like, oh, what a shitty thing that happened. Going
well.
about our day.
Well,
Like,
Just a day in the life of salmon hunters.
yeah. It's just what happens out in these streets. Like, and then there's the
All right, I want to
science
see.
assembly.
I want to see an episode.
Is it the science assembly then? No.
Is that a
Catch.
science assembly or like a town hall?
Oh no,
meeting?
because they go home and then the dog disappears, right?
Right.
Yeah.
They go home.
It
The
goes
dog's
to the
eaten through the
head.
trash, and then we get to see the violent death of a dog by
Yes.
the hand of a creature, who I guess they decided the dog was a male dog. it wasn't a female dog.
Right, because it would want to mate with it otherwise.
Right,
Yeah.
otherwise it would impregnate it. So we get to see a violent death of a dog. A kid
That
is
is
murdered.
horrific.
Oh yeah,
And then
kids
a
murdered.
dog
This
is
is what I was
murdered.
saying. If you're in a drive-in, you're like, all right, let's just fuck. This is like
This is insane. Like I'm really scared.
fold the seat back. Where you can't.
Yeah,
watch
like
this.
everything we just said. Think about that. Like a kid is
Yeah.
murdered and a dog is murdered within
on
10
screen,
minutes.
not
And-
like
and-
not
Yeah.
you know
Off
it
screen,
happened.
a
You
dog is
watched
ripped
it
up.
happen.
Listen, one
It's
of
just
one of
like
two
an
things
eviscerated.
happen is that like whenever a dog dies in this movie, it's either tranquilized or dead.
Yes.
Like actually
Yes.
tranquilized
Sean,
or dead.
To be honest, there's a possibility that one dog was really dead.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's definitely
Some
a
sick
a
shit.
definite
Oh, there was also the
possibility.
shot of the one-legged seagull at the
Oh
beginning.
yes.
right.
There's just a seagull
can't
in
get
the
it to stay on
front.
camera.
There's a
Break
couple
his
of
leg.
those where like you like see dead ducks and stuff. Oh,
Oh,
here's
yeah,
a here's a dead,
dead
or
duck.
weird looking thing. Let's take a picture of it.
It's
Let's hope that's what happened.
So it's like high school kid. Yes, I definitely hope they didn't like.
No, I want the commentary. Like I said, Roger Corman's like, I cut that bird's leg off myself.
I bit it off.
I ate it right there in front of him, and I said,
And he'd be
I'm in charge.
no, he would. No, but he wouldn't say it like that. He'd be like, and I just said, if that bird's not gonna sit there, I'm gonna make him fucking sit there.
Get me some crazy glue and cut off his fucking leg.
Just very, very quiet and intense.
oh man.
We'll feed the
Oh,
bird
yeah.
to the dog when we're done.
So, but then they find the dog in the morning, and it's just a pile of like guts and hair.
It's great. It's like
It's
it's missing
just
its
goo.
face.
And yeah,
No,
and
but it's eyeballs like
And,
Yeah,
and,
but it's
staring at the camera. Like,
Chris,
ugh.
Chris Wallace and Rob Bottin did the effects.
Yeah, the effects. Are
so the
good.
effects are like really good
They're
for
good.
for such a low budget flick.
Yeah, that's not the problem.
No, the
No.
problem is not the special
effects.
effects
so
at
then
all.
they go
But then-
to
I think that's when fucking the bad guy, I guess, or whatever, the dude in the vest.
Dude,
That's
I don't
when
know.
they-
The
well,
guy
that's-
with the perm. I don't know what that to describe.
Oh, the
all
head.
these
things describe almost everything.
Right,
No,
right.
everybody wore the same clothes. And
This
had
is when they go to town
hard
and like
hair.
all the dogs are dead. Like,
Yes.
like
Oh,
there's
yeah.
like
All the
8
dogs on the
dead
dock are dead.
dogs.
yes.
So watching one dog getting killed wasn't enough. Now there's just a pile of dead dogs on the docks, and nobody seems to be worried.
No,
You're just like,
they just
huh.
say they're like, oh, it must be the Indian guy.
yeah, guess
Yeah,
the Indian
they-
guy murdered our dogs.
they immediately blame him, which and everybody's just kind of like, yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, John Eagle. Yeah.
yeah.
Let's blame him.
Then everybody's just kind of yeah, okay. And then they go to the science
Well,
assembly, right?
Well, that's the first time we are in the house with the girl who hears something, right? That's when her boyfriend sneaks
Yes,
in.
that's what cuts to the woman.
That's
That's because that
Combing
night.
her hair
It's
at
that
okay.
night.
night.
So that's the second movie. That's
That's where the second movie
that's
starts.
where they
Yeah.
start
Second
splicing
movie
it in.
because she looks like a porn star.
Yes, and she's
brushing
just
her hair
kind of in
next
a
to
teddy.
door.
She's in a satin negligee teddy thing.
Yeah.
And then she's talking about people being home any minute, and she's dressed like she's about to like go film
No, she
soft
looks
porn.
like she's going to have an orgy over her
Yeah.
house. But she hears a noise,
Yes.
and there's a door right next to her in the bathroom that goes right outside.
Yeah, I
It's
didn't
a weird-
understand.
Does not make sense.
Does not make sense. And then she looks outside, and then leaves the
Nothing.
door open.
Yes, leaves the door open
Then
even though
searches
she's
around
scared.
the house. It's boring. And then
The door handle's moving. And
From the
somebody
front-
called it. Somebody called it. Was like her boyfriend's gonna pop up.
I think it
it
was.
was,
Right.
it was
Yeah.
Kathy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the door handle's moving, but then her boyfriend pops up from behind her.
Yeah.
Which doesn't answer the question
Of who the fuck was at the
touching
door?
Right.
Right.
I mean, maybe it was the monster. Maybe we're
I
supposed to
guess-
infer that it was the
But
monster.
like the monsters
yeah.
are so aggressive in every other scene that I can't imagine.
Yeah, and it was nighttime. They say they're nocturnal creatures, and
Right.
it was nighttime, so maybe.
I don't think
Not-
it matters. It just was a mistake.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then her boyfriend and her are getting kind of set.
He's trying to
fuck,
And
then,
she's like, people
no,
are gonna be
people
here any minute. Any minute.
Right,
As I
and
was
she's in it again,
sexily
her
brushing my
nightgown.
hair in a negligee.
And
Okay.
that's when we go to the
okay.
the Noyo
No Yo Salmon Festival.
Salmon Festival.
That's it.
And
Dude, there's an awesome old lady standing outside of the
Yeah.
door of this place. Her dress was out of control. Her hair was nuts. She had giant glasses. She was so cool.
she looked
Like,
All-
like
man.
a
old
Mama's
people.
Family
Yeah.
cast member.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
that lady just lived in this town. And
Oh,
they were
yeah.
like, show up in your best.
Can you just stand here?
Right.
Yeah. And that's when the kids show up.
Yep.
The kids we just saw show up.
Oh,
and then
that's
two
right.
go
More
in.
kids.
With two more kids. They go in. The two we just saw stay in the car to drink fuck.
Yep.
While everything
Right.
else is happening. Right.
Because
And-
that's what you do in a small town.
Right.
Well, you got to go to the salmon
You
festival.
can't
Yeah.
not
Right.
go to
So
the sand.
sexy.
It's
salmon are
It
sexy.
looks like really fun for kids. They're gonna have an announcement about the science of salmon.
Oh yeah, and Canco
He's gonna make an
Canco.
announcement.
is going to make an announcement on building a production facility in the
Right.
town. I love Canco. Canco's
Canco's
so
great.
generic.
Panko is pretty great.
Because that guy, the guy with the turkey neck, introduces.
Yes.
He introduces like the scientist lady who's like.
Yes, a scientist
this lady.
lady, everyone.
Scientist lady.
That bounces out the rape.
Right.
Probably in Roger Corman's eyes.
she
it
was the
totally
one-
does.
Yeah, it's like, well, we did make a lady a
We
scientist.
didn't make the flat-chested girl get naked. We were very tasteful.
Right. And so they announced what's happening with Canco, what's happening with the science of the salmon.
Yes.
That's when John Eagle walks
Have
in.
we announced what the science salmon is?
Dude, she's genetically
altering him so they
this-
fuck more.
Right.
Yeah,
That's what they're trying to do.
yeah. She explains it more later. Though.
Yeah.
But
But she sort of says it there. She's like, we're going to be able to populate
But
so
everybody's
many
just kind of like,
salmon.
we don't care. Let's just have a party.
let's just start
Dude,
having fun.
Get
Get that band
Joe
rocking.
Phillips in the white coats or whatever the fuck they were called. Get them kicking.
The White Hoods, probably.
Oh,
God. That's when
there-
John Eagle
Yeah.
breaks
Oh, yeah.
the silence. He walks in with a dog that looks like a real dead dog.
And it looks
yeah.
pretty dead.
Yes.
That dog was
It's
dead or
tranked
tranquilized.
Heavily or dead.
yes.
Tranked. Like Roger Corman has this giant trank.
It's the
Okay,
80s.
let's go. And he just shoots.
Yeah,
the
Roger
second-
Corman's like, it's not the most dangerous game, but it's game nonetheless. And I enjoy it. I enjoy the hunt. All for the name of the craft.
Listen,
I like, man.
listen, Phil, I'm going to need you to trank this dog and rape that woman. I know you may not want to do it,
Lunch
but
is
it's
in
for
an
your
hour, so
family.
Get going.
We've got cold cuts.
It's not funny at all. It's terrible. It's really terrible. But John Eagle walks in holding a dog that we're gonna hope isn't a real dead dog.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it looks fucking
But it
dead.
looked
And
pretty
they're both
dead.
covered in blood.
Yeah.
He's like, you killed my dog. And then the perm guy's like, you killed my dog, so whatever.
Right. I guess
In a
we're
room full
we're
of people.
square.
He's like, you killed my dog, so I killed yours. What's the big deal here?
But they both know they didn't kill each other.
Yeah.
That's what they have
Now, I
knowledge.
don't know. I still don't even know if...
Oh.
I still think the perm guy and his boys did kill his dog.
Well, now I
True.
guess with retrospect, if they're willing to do the other things they did
Yeah.
later, I guess why wouldn't they murder that dog?
Sure.
That's what I'm thinking.
But I think the movie was inferring that it was the creatures.
creatures. All right.
Because they just showed us a creature rip a dog apart, and then there's more dead dogs on the docks. And then they're gonna not explain that
Yeah,
they
but
actually...
they have that line of like, I bet Eagle did this.
And also,
I
they
don't know.
tranquilized like 10 dogs.
Well,
there are a
it-
lot of dogs on that dock.
Yeah.
This is just yet another occurrence of this movie just not lining up its own
Thing.
plot
Yeah,
line.
Well, it's so short and it's so quick that you don't
Yeah.
have time to think about everything that doesn't
Exactly.
make
It's
sense.
80 minutes, so we didn't
Yeah.
say that. It's an 80-minute movie that
Right.
ends before you even think it started.
No,
Yeah.
I was like, wait, what?
we watched the movie already?
Yeah,
What?
I
Okay.
was like, the third act happens now, right?
Yeah, so I'm like,
Where they
Third act,
find
no,
out
what?
where their home is or what science did it or more science to get rid of it. No, it just ends.
There could be... Well, we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
We'll get to it. Okay, so John, they get into a fist fight with
Yeah.
John Eagle,
Yep.
and the whole town joins in.
yeah.
Well, that one guy gets it hard. Like, he gets
Dude, John
two
Eagle.
black eyes that are like
Johnny Eagle
fucked
gets
up.
fucked
Infected.
up.
Dude,
I-
he's just trying to survive this movie.
Seriously.
Pretty much
Like-
for the rest of the movie, everyone has a black eye or two
Right.
for the whole rest of the movie.
Yeah, because the creature's like punching people. Punching men. Sorry.
Man.
Yeah, men.
not people.
Yeah, right. Right, they get all into a fight, and that just ends.
That's the sheriff shoots the gun. He's like, everybody go home now.
And the sheriff's demeanor is the best demeanor in the whole movie,
Oh,
where he's just everything he says is really. It's even more subdued than Corman.
Yeah, seriously. Like, he
like,
just
he's
is like,
seen-
come on, guys.
Everybody go back home now.
Come on, guys.
All right.
Everybody's in.
Guys.
Okay.
You guys know what you're doing.
Guys, come on.
Just
he
stop.
suffered a stroke or something.
He's suffering a stroke, okay?
Did he ever move both of his arms at
No.
the same time? I don't know.
Yeah, he's
We'll
one
have
of
to
the
go
few
back and
people,
watch.
oddly enough, one of the few people who's open carrying in the movie.
Right.
I was
So, yeah, the town definitely feels like it would be.
Right, and
100% open
There would be
carry.
more guns than there isn't.
I think at this point is when we get the beach scene. right? This is
Yes.
the ugly,
Oh,
disturbing,
disgusting
gross beach.
beast that nobody would hang out on.
No one is fucking on this beach. But
No
these
one's
people
hanging
are.
out on this beach. A woman
It
is
looks like
drawing a boat.
It's like one of the back beaches at Assateague that isn't like
Yeah.
tended
It's
to.
like instead of sand, it's like pebbles.
Right,
You
and
know
there's
what
just
I mean?
like
And like BP had a spill like 4 or 5 years ago.
right. They're
near-
just dead animals
There's a
everywhere,
dead duck.
yeah.
and moss and
And then,
algae.
so like the sexy couple from before are trying to be sexy on the beach while this woman's drawing like
A boat.
10 feet away from them.
And she's staring.
And
Like,
she's just
And
watching
she's
them
like-
make out.
Yeah, she's like
got
totally,
a huge grin on her face.
Yeah,
Right.
She's
she's
into it.
loving it.
Yeah.
I
Well,
kind of, part of me thought that like there might even be like a threesome thing in here because hey, nothing is off the table in this
I
movie.
think, yeah,
Right.
no, go for it.
Right?
Like yeah, nothing. Like
That was like the mission statement. Hey, nothing is off the table. in this
seriously.
movie.
Like they just figured,
that was the
well,
can
tagline
do
for
it
the
all.
movie.
let's see, she's an artist, so she's probably also a lesbian, so she should start having sex with the woman. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like the thinking would be just like all this weird stuff.
But then they go off and they kind of like are climbing through.
They're going to find
like
a new
Jagged
place.
Rocks.
Oh yes, yeah, they're
They're trying to find a place to basically have sex.
like to be alone.
Away from that woman.
Yeah.
Although he's like trying to touch her, and she's like, "You only have one thing on your mind." And
It's
It's like we've
Well,
been
what did you
making out
think?
for
Yeah, but
like
you're
the
also-
entire
we've been
movie
making
so
out
far.
for like 2 hours naked on a beach. What?
like
what do
we
you mean?
they went from making out in a truck at a salmon meeting to making out on the beach. Like
In
Salmon.
public, in front of a
That's
woman.
not what you just said. A salmon
A
meat.
salmon meeting. See you guys at the
You
salmon
know,
meeting.
a fish town
Right.
is like the least sexy setting for anything. It's so gross.
but he gets his.
Well, they really raised the
He
scales.
does get torn
God.
apart by
Oh, that's right,
a
yeah.
creature. I felt like that was one of the cooler effects. His face.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
his
where he
face
got
was
his
really
face
cool.
ripped
Yeah,
off.
no, the face
That
getting
was
ripped
really
off
good.
Awesome. Then she gets dragged away and well,
And raped in broad
Yeah.
daylight. By
Right.
the seaweed
And we're not
covered
talking
fish
about
man.
like barely seeing anything. You
No,
see
No, she's fully nude.
everything.
this creature exposes her breasts instantly. That's like the first thing that
No,
happens.
she loses her pants too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
No, it's nasty and not fun to watch.
It's-
No, it's
It's gross.
not.
She's
Right.
like covered in dirt and
It's really
seaweed
depressing.
and screaming, and it's gross.
Ugh.
It makes like I Spit on Your Grave look like Beauty and the Beast.
It's pretty depressing.
It's just like the casual disregard they have for and they all did it like during the
Because they saw a
documentary.
scene where it was just shadows on a rock, and they were like, "No,
Yeah, like
I want to
originally,
see
I
a
wanna see her
fully
tits.
nude woman."
I want to sexualize this woman while she's
Ah.
being. Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
disgusting.
and they're all
it's
talking about it so
super, super
blatantly.
gross.
That's why the documentary is so important to know that it was different and
Yeah.
that they forcibly
yeah.
made it.
Forcibly is
They
the
forcibly-
Yeah, I know. Well, he
Secretly,
did.
Yeah.
like
Yes.
they not even notes to the people who actually made a movie. They
didn't
just
even
did
tell
this.
that's the best when you have the actors talking about. It's like we had no idea that there's this other movie. It's like we went to the premiere and what is going
Who the fuck are
on?
these people? I don't know any of
Right.
these other characters. What
Ugh.
is this, dude? That's fucking
Just
crazy.
out of control.
It's out of control. And the scene, they die. They're dead.
Yeah. Oh no,
No,
she's,
no,
I mean,
she's-
she's not dead.
she's not
Well,
dead.
yeah, that's right.
Well,
That's
we don't
the
know that
surprise
now,
later.
though. Yeah.
We
Oh,
don't
yeah,
know that.
yeah.
We don't know that now.
We just get to see her get raped.
Yeah,
Right.
great.
Right. And that's when we go back to the artist girl, right?
Yeah, artist girl gets picked up by her boyfriend, I think.
No, by the Jessica Biel lady that didn't look like
This-
Jessica Biel.
The scientist?
No, there's another
No.
woman, dude.
The woman with
No,
the
I
baby.
know, yeah,
the woman
you're
with
right.
the
There's so many
baby.
people who didn't really
Oh,
have
yeah,
names
yeah, yeah.
and didn't matter. Yeah,
The
they
woman
just were
from the end of the
breasts.
movie.
They were breasts. You know what I mean? It was insane. It
Yeah.
was just another woman that you knew was going to get attacked at some point.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
What happens then?
They go somewhere else. That's when
Who gets attacked next?
the head and his son, son
That's
of
right,
head,
the son
head
of
and
head-
son of
son of
head
head.
are on the boat with the scientist woman, and she's like taking pictures of the stuff they catch.
Is that when
Yeah.
she sees that was happening on the beach or something? Don't they come to the beach then?
No, they catch something on the line, and son of head is
Oh,
like
dude.
something was holding the line,
Yeah.
and the woman's like, "That's kind of crazy," and the dad's like, "You're just making stuff."
Oh,
up.
that's right. They pull the
Yeah.
they pull a giant salmon out.
Oh,
Yeah.
and then that's when he says, I love this line. He's like, never thought I'd be angry to see a salmon.
Salmon.
I was like, get the fuck out of here.
It's
Wait,
yeah.
but have we already confronted the Canco guys? at this point? Have we confronted them about because at one point the scientist lady confronts them and being like, I tried to tell you.
No, that's not yet.
That's not yet.
That hasn't
Okay.
happened yet because they haven't really had proof of it.
Yeah,
yet.
only
Okay.
John
no one
Eagle
knows what's
has
happening
confronted-
yet.
Okay, that's right. Okay.
Only John Eagle has opposed the Kanto.
I think now it's the attack on the dock, right? The night attack, because the next night, and they go
that's
to
right,
get
because
revenge
they go to
on,
firebomb
Is it
John
happened that
Eagle's
quick?
house.
It's pretty quick.
It's pretty quick because Vic Morrow's character, and he's
Right.
dressed all in black.
He's just pissed that
He's just
somebody killed
mad.
his dog
Yeah.
and lying about him killing a dog, we think.
Oh, and they hear John Eagle talking about.
Oh, yeah, he goes and does, like, recon at John
Yes.
Eagle's house and hears
Right.
him saying that he has a lawyer who's willing to take up the case.
So
for
and like
free
tie it
to-
up in
Yeah.
court, so
Vic,
they
Right.
Vic
never.
Moreau is wholly divorced from the victims in the movie.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like he has no connection to the
No,
women
not at all.
being killed or hurt by these raped by these monsters
Mm-mm.
at all. It's like a completely different storyline.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's doing recon. You're right. He's doing recon, and then he gets his boys
Yes.
to go to
They come
John
back at
Eagle's
night.
house, which is also at the same time because John Eagle brings he brings the woman, the
A son of
couple
Head and the artist
to
go
his
with
house
him.
for cornbread and salmon.
Yes.
All they're doing
It's
is they're literally cooking salmon on a grill, and the girl makes cornbread, and apparently that's
That's a
what-
thing.
And they just stare at each other while they perform these tasks.
why would they be hanging out?
I think they wanted
They're
to talk to him
friends,
about
or-
the Canco thing.
Okay.
I think they
think-
were
I-
his
yeah, I
friends.
guess.
Like they
Well,
were
no, because
cool
he
with.
said
They weren't the other people.
It's
that
like
hated
Romeo and
him
Juliet,
for
a
being
friendship.
An Indian
but
or
they,
whatever,
it
a
was-
Native American. Or...
they specifically at one point one of them said, because he was like, well, you can go back, you can take my boat and go back if you want to, and they're like, no, we're gonna sit and talk about this thing or something.
Yeah,
And
you're
I
right.
think-
No,
you're
he
right.
said something dumb like, "Well, those salmon aren't going to eat themselves," because that scene ended with them like kind of
Right.
laughing as they walked off
True.
screen. I
It
think he
doesn't-
just said something dumb shit like that.
For
like,
some reason, the son of Head was there.
yeah,
Yeah.
with the artist girl.
Yeah,
Who's
These
his
people's
girlfriend.
names.
just making cornbread.
Right, and then
Right.
that's when the creature is looking at them from they get the whole
Right.
Jason
POV
shot,
yeah.
that whole shot, and
then
then
Vic Morrow and
Vic Morrow and
his
his
dudes
boys
show up and they throw a Molotov cocktail
Tail.
at this house
And
And it just
blows
blows the fuck up.
they
and, like-
blow up his house.
Yeah,
That's the
They
retaliation.
could literally see him cooking food in the front yard,
and they blow up his
and they
house.
blow up his house. This is insane.
Yeah.
He really loved that dog, man.
Scraps was really a member
I
of the
guess
family.
'cause at this point, Vic Morrow thinks he killed several of their dogs.
Yes.
Right.
Like, he thinks he's a criminal.
And he's just trying to stop him from making money now, also,
Right.
because he's going to be
Right.
the guy catching all the salmon, apparently.
But he still blows up a house right
Yeah.
next to him. It's kind. I mean, he might as well just kill him.
Mhm.
You know, at this point, just kill him.
No, yeah,
What are you doing? You're just. I mean, you tried to kill him basically. But that's also at the same time as when there is a creature attack.
Right.
Right.
That's the peer attack.
That's the peer attack. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then Son of
It's-
Head gets
His face slashed.
Right.
He gets
And-
pretty
No,
fucked
no,
up.
no, because they fight the monsters. The girl, artist girl, gets in the truck to leave.
Yes.
Son of Head. Yes, I'm
He-
sorry. That is
Yeah,
something.
yeah, yeah.
Son of Head
I'm sorry.
gets it-
I was thinking of the other.
Son of
peer.
Head
I'm
fights
sorry.
one of the monsters, gets sucked in, and then tries to climb back out.
He gets all
then
fucked
he gets
up.
his
John
face
Eagle
slashed.
saves him.
John Eagle saves him. Right. John Eagle saves him,
'Cause
and
he
John Eagle
doesn't
gets
die.
punched in the face.
again.
And
And
then-
so he's got the two,
Yeah.
he's got the Irish sunglasses at that point.
Then, what does Vic Morrow do during that? Does he?
Well, they
leave?
just go back.
They just go back.
and that's when the girl's in the car.
in the car, right?
And the
And then there's a
monster-
creature
the
in
creature
the
like
truck.
teleports to the windshield. She's like driving all nice, nothing is happening. Boom! And just like right in there.
Fist through the windshield.
Yeah, fist through the windshield.
And then she gets it off
Runs it over.
and runs it over, but then it
There's
gets
another one in
back.
the bag.
I love
It's
it.
another
No,
one, I would
it
assume.
falls off the truck, and it's a shot of the creature rolling to stop, and then it cuts back to that same shot and reverses it just slightly, so it looks like the creature's getting back up.
But
But it's a
doesn't.
reverse of the
It's
Yeah.
so
shot.
obviously a
It's
reverse.
so obviously reversed.
There's a lot of reverse photography in this
Yes.
movie.
And then
Oh yeah, the kid falling.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
in the
And
water.
Then she's driving along, and it's in the back of the truck now, or another one.
Or
is-
maybe it's another
Or another
because
one.
they kept having to reuse all the costumes, so
Right.
like
You
it's
couldn't
supposed to
have
be
more
like
than
an
one.
army
But
of
in the reality of the movie,
creatures.
it's implied that there's several of these.
There's,
Yes.
Yeah, there's infinite amounts
There's
of monsters.
they're just they're
everywhere.
gremlins. They're gremlins.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just really way more pressing. Right, and then what happens? She gets killed. Does she get killed? Right?
Yeah, she drives off a bridge and
Yeah.
Explodes. Right.
Well, and then
Like 2 explosions within like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then
you'll
it,
either
like-
do the nude scene or the car's going over the cliff.
pretty much.
It's one
It's one or the other, Diane. I mean, really, we can't get around
I
this.
have to be
Barbara
firm with you.
wants.
Yeah, this is what Barbara.
I can't afford a stunt woman, so you're gonna have to go over the cliff yourself.
She chose death. She chose death.
Really made a wise choice.
Yes.
I think it sounds like he's like Satan or something. Yeah, he's just like quietly talking about the worst.
I mean,
Uh,
you're not wrong.
That's when
They find the car, they find the truck, and this is before other people like Head knows about what's happening. And then
yeah.
and then
No.
Johnny Eagle shows up with Son of Head.
Okay.
Because they're like, we
you're
found
right,
so and so in the truck, in Johnny Eagle's truck, and she was over a bridge. Like, what the fuck is happening? And then Johnny Eagle shows up in the boat.
Oh, that's what they have
Right,
that racist
right.
ass line where they're like, "Where is Johnny Eagle?" And they're like, "I don't know. He's probably with a buffalo somewhere."
Fucking, didn't he say something
Or
about
he's
like
like fucking a
fucking
buffalo somewhere
Oh
or
my
something.
God.
It
yeah.
was
Really?
A buffalo.
Oh, boy.
not cool.
Sadly,
No.
it's not the worst thing in the movie.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. But that's when
No, the
Son
casual
of Head-
racism's like one of the like nicer aspects.
Jesus.
Son of Head and Mom of Head go to the hospital,
Mom of Head.
and Head just fucking takes off. He jumps.
Oh,
on
he
the
goes
boat.
nuts. I
He's
mean,
like, "I'm out of here. Fuck it," and just gets on his boat to go. But the science lady's with him though.
the science
Right.
lady's with him. That's when they're
Oh, because
That's
they
what she
believe
goes-
him. They believe Johnny Eagle
Yeah,
about the
they
monster.
do. And that's when they're on the
There's
ocean.
a third person with him.
Yeah, it's Johnny Eagle.
Oh,
isn't it?
Johnny Eagle. You're
They're-
right.
That's when they're on the ocean and she's just using the binoculars. She's like, "Would you stop looking at the binoculars and talk to me?" You know,
Oh,
and
yeah,
she's
yeah.
like, "I think there could be caves over there," and it's like only like
Just like a series
like
of
1,000
caves.
feet that way. There's literally caves.
It's
Like,
obviously
you think
caves.
there's caves. You guys, there's caves. It's like
Are you holding those backwards and I wasn't noticing?
Right. Yeah, she's holding it back. It's like I think.
Could be.
So they go and investigate that island, which turns out to be
Yep.
the nesting ground of the creatures. And,
And
that's when
they fuck up a bunch of
they fight a
creatures.
couple creatures off, and they find the woman from the beach.
Yes.
Do you know what I like
Right.
about finding the woman from the beach
Is
being
that-
impregnated is that the monster was like laying on top of her like he was incubating her.
Like a penguin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she was like covered in seaweed, like completely covered in seaweed. Her
Yeah,
right.
foot was sticking out.
And they had to like get
It's
one
such a
more
weird
boob
way.
shot. of her.
No, they made a boob shot out of this scene.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Because
They
they
had-
take down the seaweed and they like slowly reveal her breasts.
You couldn't just have her face.
They're
Yeah.
like, because immediately
It's
they're
not-
like, oh, good, they move it
like,
over
oh,
her
it's-
face, she's alive, and then they continue.
Like, let's make sure the rest of her's okay. And it's like, come on, man. You don't need. It's not like
It's
it's
just-
not sexy at all,
No.
and it's not.
She's had giant gashes on her face. She's impregnated by a raped fish monster.
No,
Maybe we don't need to
it's
see her breasts.
Not again.
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 Not the first time, really.
Yeah, no.
Like, it's not like we hadn't seen these breasts before.
This is like the third time because it's
Yeah.
it's the
Oh, yeah,
back
it's
of the
in
car, then the rape
beach.
scene, and then the
Yeah.
man,
poor girl.
man. Oh,
She should have been in the documentary.
yeah.
Just
She
so
wasn't.
could show
She
up.
wasn't.
She
No, I
wasn't.
said she should have been.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like,
No, no.
there's-
The Head family was not in the documentary.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So they
They
fight,
they save her and bring her back.
and they go into the science lab where we see a film reel
Yes.
where she pretty much explains the
They
science.
mixed it with they mixed them with frogs.
Right.
And then
it's
they
like
augmented
you were saying
that.
the Jurassic
It's
Park.
the Jurassic
Yeah.
Park Mr. DNA scene, but not nearly as fun. And she just basically says, yeah, they're mutations from tadpoles
Right.
or something of that.
Something like
And-
that.
oh,
There's
and
a
it makes them-
specific
yeah,
fish
like,
they
it's
refer
like-
to, but
She literally
Oh,
says in that
um,
scene, though, they're going to attack men. And
They call it something weird like DNA 74 or something. Didn't
Sure.
she say some
Something-
shit like that?
No.
Zygrot 24.
Yeah, it was
it was like
something like
DNA
that.
5 or something.
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
like
yeah.
that. And that's
Yeah,
what
okay.
turned these tadpoles into these monsters. She says that.
Well, no, she says they did it with tadpoles, and that's the footage. And then she was like, we did it with salmon, but like a wave destroyed a spawn pool and they escaped or some shit. Like she was like 300.
Super convoluted considering
Yeah.
how dumb the movie is.
Yeah, she was like
Y'all-
300.
you didn't need to
DNA
explain it
5
almost.
infused salmon babies escape.
I don't need to know the science of how it happened. She tried to do some science with
I
some
know,
salmon,
like-
and it just they turned into.
She tried to do some science.
She
It was
tried
some
to do some
salmon.
science
It
and she
doesn't
fucked
matter.
up. It's okay,
It
science
doesn't
lady.
matter.
We all
Dude,
mess
all
up
the
sometimes.
townspeople are like listening, or the people in that room are like, they don't know what she's saying. I'm like, why are you explaining to these hicks? They don't know what you're
Yeah.
talking about.
Well, that had that great shot of the lighter.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
yeah, with
yes.
the head
Yeah,
shot.
the head
Ooh.
shot.
Oh yeah, the head
with
lights a cigarette while it's still dark, and then they turn the lights on afterwards, and it's just like,
Full
oh
head.
yeah, oh
Right.
yeah.
And so
I half wanted to do it explode because anytime there's an open flame near anything, this
I
movie
know.
just goes up.
I know we've skipped a few things, but I think
Did
we
we?
can.
I don't
I
think
think
we
we
skipped
can
that
move
much.
on to the fair.
I don't
I
think
think
we've.
we pretty good.
Well, they have when they first come on back to the pier, they show them the monster.
Well,
that
they come from the
captured.
science lab with the monster, I think.
Okay.
Because
So
don't
that's
have,
next.
Because they don't have the girl with
Right.
them anymore. So I
Yeah,
think that's next.
So they're like,
Yeah,
no,
no,
because they show it to Vic Morrow. He's like, you're gonna lose your lunch, and
right.
show him.
That's the
shows
scene
him
that does
monster.
precede this, because
Right.
that was like exposition, and then we get okay. Now the actual characters of the movie are gonna know this is happening.
Right.
Right, and that's when they show Vic
they sh-
Morrow.
And most of the people, the monster,
Yeah, and
are
Right.
on the beach or the pier, and then immediately 2 monsters burst through the pier and start killing people.
Right.
Like,
Well, that's a
instantly.
little bit later.
That's
Isn't
later.
it?
No, this is the first time they show it to people. To Vic Morrow. You're thinking of the
The
climax.
end.
The
Right.
third act.
Okay.
The third act. We haven't got there yet.
I think we did though.
No,
we gotten close enough.
we're getting
What are we
close.
missing?
Well, now this is the same day as the climax of the movie.
Right.
And okay.
We've
Hold
all-
on.
We've all lost our train of thought. at
Yeah,
once.
no, I'm telling you, that's it.
I think that's
when
it,
they
'cause
show
now
the
it
body
goes-
on the dock, it's during
Well, no, now
the
it
fair,
goes-
and that's why so many
But
people
it goes
run up.
from that to the house where the girl's alone.
Right, with the
Yes,
baby.
Carol
With the
Hall,
kid.
yeah,
With
or
the
Carol
kid.
Hill
And that's
with
the
kid.
shower.
The
scene.
shower scene where we see this woman with a quote unquote rocking bod.
It
Right.
was a completely different body type
Different-
than this
Right.
woman.
Right, right.
It was very obviously not her.
She's home alone with a baby, and she hears a noise. You know, and she like goes looking for it, and then we get that shot, the best shot in the movie, in my opinion, which is hilarious, of the monster at the window. Like,
Oh, yes!
yeah!
it was almost cute.
It was almost
Right.
cute.
It
He's
was-
backlit, so like the light's shining over.
You
the-
could see Roger Corman like thinking in the back of his head is like, can we do a Munchies type spinoff on this one? You know?
Right. And that's like the completely separate storyline happening during the big third act
of the fair.
of the fair.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
that was probably the original movie, and the fair was just.
You think the
that-
fair was the?
I think the fair was entirely new. Like,
Okay.
Yeah, I think
almost
so too,
entirely new.
especially because of Miss Salmon.
Because
Right.
you know what, you're right. Because the way she kind of is in this scene, in the end result of this scene is her killing this thing,
Right.
Yes.
like her taking charge.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
killing
yeah.
it.
And the
So
way
it
they
probably was the Barbara Peters.
Dude,
scene.
this was like a woman power movie where no one got raped ever.
Yes.
And the only person who was going to get raped was this woman, but she killed the monsters on her own without her husband, and then they took it.
And Roger Corman was
and
like, "This
filled
isn't.
it-
This will not do."
Oh.
backfilled it with rape,
I'm gonna need you to redo
and
this.
then invalidated her victory over this monster.
Although it was pretty
It's
clever how they.
fucking insane.
It's pretty
That's
clever how they
fucking
tied it
insane.
in.
No, it's not.
with the radio
It's-
host because she was listening to the radio and the radio host at her
Yes.
house.
See,
Yeah.
that's what confused me about whether the fair was in the original cut or not.
Well,
Because the
because-
fair is people just getting murdered and raped.
I think
Right.
there's
But
probably-
they said all the male kills were in the original movie.
That's true. So there was a lot of male death.
Yeah,
Maybe,
in the
but
fair,
I'm thinking
like,
that
lots
Roger
of
Corman.
guys.
Okay, Roger Corman. It's been a long time, and he's pretty old. He's probably just thinking of the face rip at the in the first scene, the big face rip.
Right.
He's probably saying she filmed that. I'm gonna imagine he just saw that and was like, "Whoa!" And then he's like, "Well, this rape scene
Well,
only
I
is a
think
shadow."
some of the fair must have been there because Vic Morrow's involved.
Yeah.
And I think the scene where like the kids are in danger during the fair,
You're right.
that was probably the original.
It was
film.
probably really easy to splice in
Fair
the part
stuff.
with the part with the radio announcer guy.
Yeah,
And she could have been listening. They could have made that radio announcer guy anybody.
Right.
And then they could have spliced
He
that in
didn't
like
interact.
that.
The radio
yeah.
stuff.
Well, it was
doesn't
clearly
interact
a
with
different
the-
guy.
They only interact in their little
Oh,
booth
okay.
area,
Let's go in
so-
order. Okay, they get we see the fair. The fair's it's the salmon fest.
Yes.
You know, it's like the big celebration before the storm, I guess.
And
it's a
everybody
big
loves
carnival.
just like, you know, all the kids love banjo dancing.
Banjo music, Bubblicious.
Bubblicious
has
gets
product
like
placement.
big props.
All this fair was a Ferris wheel, a tilt-a-whirl,
And
the
a
same band we already saw before,
merry-go-round.
and tents
'Cause
of
that-
gum,
'cause that guy
and
was
like
like-
loaves of bread or whatever they were handing those people, those giant loaves of
Ain't no
like,
party like a salmon party.
burritos.
Yeah, they were wrapped in a log.
Right.
A log
And
of
that guy
wrapped
was like,
something.
hey, he goes to the old women playing music, and he's like, can you pick it up? Get really, get some like. What do
He
you
was
say?
like, I want to hear
Boom-ba-ya.
Ta-ra boom
today.
today. He's like, I want to hear some like Ta-ra boom today.
Ta-ra boom da.
Amazing.
So they're all enjoying the fair, and that's when they show up with the monster in the body bag at a fair.
At a fair.
At a fair.
Right.
Duh.
They spill it out, and they're like cork it, and then she yells at that one dude who doubted her earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And like, see, this is happening, and they're like, we're just want to, this is coming, this is happening, and then all of a sudden, like
2 minutes later.
2 minutes from the warning, these
Oh,
things
yeah.
bust out from under.
And they're
the gear.
everywhere.
Everywhere.
Right.
It just becomes an all-out attack.
Yeah, it's just killing
They
people.
just must have smelled the ovaries and
Yeah,
just,
there's
like,
a lot of women
Well,
menstruating.
the only, I guess the
Or
only thing that
ovulating, I
is
guess.
notable as far as like as far as characters happening would be Mrs. Salmon
Mhm.
and the radio, KY Fish or whatever his name.
KFSH.
Who's a guy who's a terrible radio announcer.
Yeah, he's awful.
He makes
I'm
this-
the madman, and I'm at the fair.
He's got he's got
I'm
a
gonna
girl
need you
on
to be a
roller
little bit
skates
crazier,
with-
madman. You're not really selling it at
Not
this
really
point.
selling it. He's got a girl on roller skates with the logo of the
Miss Salmon.
no. It
No,
says,
she's
Oh yeah, that's
it
right.
says
For the
K-fish on her ass.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah,
that's
right.
And he's also got Miss Salmon next to him, and he makes jokes about how he's gonna touch her breasts and shit. And all-
And he says like, what is he? He calls her his favorite billboard
Yeah.
Jesus.
when the girl with the roller skates
I
come
mean,
by. Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, we all know it's there in old movies. It
It's
just
it's
sucks.
there.
There's just so much of it in this.
There's just
This
so
one is
much
the
of
great-
it.
This one is like somebody with like airplane cones, like waving them in the air.
For real.
Notice our sexism.
Yeah, it's almost satire, but it's not.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why it's sad.
Well, I think that's what makes it watchable for us, because it feels like satire, but
Yeah,
it's like at
it
the same
isn't.
time you feel dirty because it's not
Because
satire.
it's not. And they
Right.
they make no bones about it in that documentary.
right.
Like, oh boy. They're
but
like,
it's it's a great thing to point to.
Sure.
Like if anyone's like,
This
well,
is-
you
this
know,
is what
you
we
can
don't
say,
do
like,
anymore.
Watch Humanoids from the Deep, and then watch the extra features.
Yeah,
So-
watching the
Oh, the
bonus
one-
features is so.
It's
Important.
integral
Dude,
to.
yeah.
It kind of just sucks, and then you watch, you're like, wait a minute, it's egregiously terrible.
Yeah.
In the bonus
Yeah.
features, the woman who plays Miss Salmon explains that her agent told her if she
This
wanted to
is-
get a SAG card, just be in a Roger Corman movie, and that's what she ended up having to be topless and almost raped by a monster.
Yeah.
God.
Hey.
I did like the fact that
Hey.
like the
And
character.
objectified by a radio host,
Right,
right
right.
before it
But,
happened.
but the character that you would most think of in a normal horror movie as the victim is the only one that fights back and kills the
Yeah,
monster.
totally.
Yeah.
The woman with the
This
baby.
has to be the Barbara.
Well, that's
Well,
why
not the
it's-
baby, the Miss Salmon.
Oh, Miss Sam. Oh, yeah, Miss
she
Salmon
gets
does
away.
fight back.
She does
Yeah.
she's almost raped. She does
Yeah,
get
yeah, yeah.
She only
does
gets her
fight
top
back.
ripped
She does
off.
fight
Yeah.
back,
She
and that's
baits
pretty
his head in
cool.
with a rock.
This scene mostly comprises just insert shots of like just walking
Yeah.
around, but then there's the pier that collapsed
Huh.
that no one can climb up, even though
Yes.
it has like essentially a ladder on it.
Yes.
Right.
'Cause
I'm
there's-
so stuck.
I'm so stuck because there's that one scene where this little girl is hanging off, and then a creature starts creeping up,
And we
we're
really
all like,
thought the
"Don't
worst
you
thing was going to happen.
dare."
Right.
Don't you
very
And,
worst
dare.
and I think that's from the other movie, but because the rest of the movie was so the second
Vile.
movie was so
Yeah.
vile,
Yeah.
that's why your mind goes to
Yeah.
that. You're like, no, don't let him get that little girl.
Yeah, and Vic Morrow ends up saving her,
Right,
and
right.
it's fine, and then he gets
And he
pulled
solves
in.
racism by the Indian guy who lifts him up.
He lifts him
Oh
up.
yeah, he
yeah,
said
right.
John Eagle like is a fucking bruised potato.
No, he's walking
and
around
he's
with a
killing
gun.
the shit out of these things
Yeah.
constantly.
He's awesome.
He's fucking them up hard.
Yeah, and he saves Vic Morrow, and that's the end of their arc.
Right.
It doesn't touch on that again.
And Vic Morrow is still like, I guess I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
You know, it's
He still
Just don't
hesitates.
fuck a buffalo
right.
around
Right.
me.
He's not going to grab his hand at first.
Yes.
Oh, we forgot about the part where he blamed the monsters for throwing the Molotov
Right.
cocktail
Oh, yeah.
at John Eagle's house.
Oh yeah, that's
He was like, man, these monsters killed all these people, and they blew up his house. And John Eagle's like, wait a minute.
what are you talking about? God, that's good.
Yeah, it's
That
pretty
is
great.
so good.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah. Other than there's no really there's no characters other than people getting killed.
The head goes back to his wife, and she almost stabs him because she thinks he's another monster.
And then he's like, no, it's over, it's over. And then they're just kind of like walking through the carnage of the carnival afterwards, just being like, well, I guess everything's all wrapped up.
Yeah, he asked where the scientist is, and like, she's gone and done some more sciencing, and he's like, great.
And now we cut to the Fly 2 ending since Chris Wallace is on.
I can't believe the movie's over. It's
that's what I said. I was like, then you retaliate against the thing that attacked your town. You know, it's not over.
No, they didn't.
They still have a whole camp in the caves.
Yeah, like seriously, there's still so many
possible
sea creatures out there.
They could be literally breeding right now.
Are there other towns around here?
But that is
What's
that is
happening
right.
there?
The woman, they cut to the very end where the woman
pregnancy.
gives birth.
Yes.
She gives birth to the creature, but instead of like, they're like trying to get her to like deliver it like a baby, and it just bursts out of her stomach.
An alien bursts.
Yeah.
Out of her, yeah.
Right.
And she's all like, she had
And
all
it's
these
totally
scars
like
on her
the alien
face and
from
shit.
another Roger Corman movie too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and her eyes
turned
were like
white.
ice white blue,
Right.
Yeah, I was like, is she a zombie now? Like, what's
Sure.
happening? And then it's over.
and then that's it.
And they don't really tell you how much time has passed, but she still has it looks like a fresh scar is still on her face.
It's not like these things are hard to kill.
Like, is the carnival
No,
happening
they kind
right
of
now
just
when
take a
that's
shot
happening?
and they're
I know.
down.
the creatures die pretty much like we do. You shoot them in the chest, they die.
Yeah, or
beat
like
'em in the head with a rock,
the
they
head
die.
because their brains are like on the outside of their
Right.
head. It
They
looks
look like Metal Luna mutants.
Yeah, they're
Yep.
really just the equivalent of if there was a bunch of crazy people in the streets trying to attack people. Even maybe less so because they can't even think.
Right.
Yeah.
They move forward at anything they want to kill or rape.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not really that. I don't know. It's just like,
Yeah.
okay, this woman gave
Why are
birth
they
to this
so
baby,
smart?
but it's like that baby doesn't mean anything. We're just gonna fucking kill it. You know what I mean? That
Well, no, now they're.
I really
think
thought
that's
they were
supposed to
gonna
be
kill
like
that
the
little
twist.
kid.
The science lady was evil the whole time kind of ending because
I don't think so.
she's kept that
no.
woman to give birth to the baby, and now they're going
Oh.
to do something with that because it's the newest version of the monster. That's what I was thought. That's
Oh,
what
I
I
just-
thought it was
okay.
supposed to be.
I thought she was. I don't know. I thought she was too dumb to.
Was that the
Get-
science lady giving?
Yeah,
Wait.
it was the
Yeah, it was
science,
the science
lady.
lady.
Yeah, the science
I
lady.
thought it was
no,
just
yeah.
a
she had
hospital.
No,
Okay.
she had a mask on, but it was her.
Oh,
was
okay. I
definitely
thought
the
it was
science
just a
lady.
hospital.
No, it was the science lady at
Because
her
they were
lab.
in like a special like white room.
Yeah, you're right. It was
kind
like a
of thing.
lab.
Yeah.
It wasn't so much a
It's
hospital.
kind of
Yeah.
like what was it, Hawkins laboratory kind of
Right,
thing,
yeah.
you know.
And that's the whole movie.
Yeah, I don't
That's
think we
it.
really missed anything.
Yeah,
No?
we didn't. God, did we beat the time? We beat the time.
I try to.
Oh,
my
we did
episode-
by
miss-
2 minutes.
We did miss the
Efficiency.
Never
the
happened.
fire.
I'm turning it off.
Yeah.
We did miss the fire
Well,
thing. They
yeah,
set it
the
on fire.
fire
They
in
set
the
the
wall.
They
water
set
on
fire
fire.
to the whole fucking town to beat the
Fight
monsters.
Yeah.
I mean,
set the water on fire.
I mean, there's just that's why I was saying it was kind of including that in the chaos of the fair. I
Yeah,
mean, it
yeah,
doesn't
yeah.
really matter. It's not
It
like
makes
there's
no
no
sense.
character stories happening. It's just shit. They're trying to light them on fire and fight them. It's like okay,
Yeah.
Right.
it's not really anything happening.
But I mean, that's the whole thing. Is that they
Yeah.
light the lake on fire and like, are they trying to get the monsters out so they could like
It
kill
shows
more people?
monsters
or...
burning in the fire water, though.
Right.
I just
But
feel like
to,
those
like, what
monsters can
effect, I
live
don't-
underwater though. Like
Yeah, they can just go under the fire.
you don't know how bad this problem is at all. You know what I mean? Like it's not like Gremlins to invoke it again. You know, at the end of Gremlins, they're all in that movie theater. Like it's implied.
Right.
We know that they're attracted to it. They want it. This is just like they could be fucking in the woods.
Yeah.
And, you don't know if the problem's gone. They're nocturnal
There's
creatures.
no real
Yeah,
soul.
there were a ton of those
Solution.
caves. There was like 4 or 5 caves in that thing.
I just like that the head's declaring it over during the
good.
day when they
Yeah.
wouldn't be out anyway. Like, oh, it's never happening again. It's
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
over.
They
We're
just
good.
decided that they
We
did
killed like
enough.
4 of them. It's
Yeah.
fine. Dude, you saw there was an island where they were like living. It's over.
It's over,
It's
guys.
done.
It's a vile movie that has no third act at all.
It sucks.
It's
But it's I don't know.
It's a document of history.
It really is.
It really,
This
because
is
like
a slice of time.
you know, but like there's
Yeah.
still that kind of shit in horror movies now. It's not nearly.
I was overt. It could-
Yeah, I mean, like
yeah.
they don't like sit there and talk very calmly and enthusiastically about. We had to put more rape in, you know, like,
Right.
but it's still there.
Yeah.
It's still fucking there. There are always tits. There are like almost always tits.
Sorry.
I guess. It's fine.
There is,
Your
but the
movie's a-
difference
but yours
is
movie's
because
a
we know
satire,
that this
though.
movie had none of it, and then they crammed a ton of it in.
Yes.
This
so
was not-
much so that they butchered the story to a point that the editor just had to be like, you know what, cutting everything out that isn't blood, guts, tits, or screaming.
Right. Oh, there's that one scene
He
where
cut
it's like
out
2
literally
minutes
as
of
much
just
of the plot as
screaming.
he possibly
Like
could,
you
is what
can't
he
even
said.
tell what's going on. You're just like this shrill screaming.
It's just this noise. He said it in the documentary. He was like, I just cut all the air out, and then I made it make as much sense as I could.
It's not irreversible.
Right.
the rape doesn't serve a purpose for
No,
the story
yeah.
or anything. You know
Not
what I mean?
really.
Like, it's not like you
Yeah.
could defend it.
No.
You know?
No,
I mean,
there's
it's just-
absolutely no
they just-
defending it.
No, there's no defense of it. No.
Like,
It's
was
pretty-
that other movie an hour and a half? Like, how much hit the floor of that
Right.
cutting room
Yeah, no shit.
that this is what we
Like,
just watched?
Yeah, I don't think like the Barbara Peters movie would be genius, but it would.
I think it'd be
completely
worth
different.
watching.
It'd be
It's an
interesting to
entire
see
movie
as a
It would have
document.
character arcs. and
Yeah.
Vic Morrow would have some pertinence to it. Vic
Yes.
Morrow is so divorced from the movie.
He's like,
Right.
I'm a fisher. I hate this Indian
I
guy.
hate it. He's a racist fisherman. It's
Right.
nothing to
That's
do with it. It just
all
so
he
happens
does.
that while he's being racist and trying to kill
There's an entire
Indian,
race of sea creatures.
Right, and
like,
kind of like, I'll my attention.
Oh,
is
it's
diverted.
okay to be racist against these sea creatures.
You know, this is
Finally,
sort of
I have
like God
purpose.
Monsters Indian Flats in that way.
Oh man,
There's
we
a-
never have done that on
yeah,
this, but
there's a racist guy who is kind of pointless throughout the whole movie.
but it's just there.
But it's there, yeah.
Yeah. Well,
We did it.
we did
we
it.
did
We
it.
did it. We beat it in the time, and then
50
we talked over the time. That's
episodes,
fine.
and we endured humanoids from the deep.
Dude, it took us 50 episodes to
You know,
review a
uh,
movie in an hour.
I
We
gotta
did
say,
it.
as far as vile movies go that we've done on this podcast, I'd say
This is the worst.
This is the worst, and the only one
And
that's
then
second to
Legion
it,
of Iron.
Legion of Iron.
This
So-
and then Legion of Iron.
So unless you want to be depressed, don't watch either of those movies. So Legion of Iron is pretty vile, but this is a
I was talking
This
with somebody
takes the cake.
recently where I was like, I can't believe I watched. It was you. I was like, we watched a movie called Hellhole.
Oh, right.
And it wasn't as bad as any of the, like most of anything else.
It's not bad at all.
There's almost no like depravity in it that isn't consensual, and you're like, but then you watch this. It's a fish movie. And
It's a movie about fishermen. And it shouldn't be this disgustingly violent, man. Kids and pets die.
Yes.
And women get raped and objectified. It's like,
Like in the first 10 minutes of the movie,
Right,
all
they-
of that happens. In the first
It's
10 fucking
insane.
minutes.
It's pretty insane. So, no, I don't think I need this answered verbally. We'll just do it anyway. Does everybody recommend anyone watch this movie?
As you have to watch it with a
Yeah,
documentary.
if you do watch the documentary.
So you
afterwards.
understand how these things happen. It needs like as
Right.
a lesson, as an educational lesson of how things used to be, or probably still are for some sad part. But
Yeah.
I mean, the effects are great
The effects are
for what
definitely
it is.
really good for what they worked with, which was nothing.
I don't know. I don't feel the need to defend anything good about it.
Right.
It's not a reason to watch it.
No.
If you want to see Rob Bottin work,
It is a spectacle of just madness.
yeah. Kathy doesn't care anymore.
She's checked out.
She
She's
is
all
gone.
about
Cupcakes. So
Sorry, I mean, cupcakes are way more.
honestly, though, I gotta say, like at least like half of Kathy's cupcakes are shit. I think we're gonna remake them. We're gonna rebake them. What do you think?
Yeah,
What do you think?
yeah,
Or
yeah.
we can
They
do
don't
it
have
better.
enough
Yeah. I was thinking we
frosting.
could-
Yeah, they
on
don't
them.
Oh my god.
way more frosting.
Way more
Yeah,
frosting.
wow.
I'm gonna need some more
Gotta shove that
frosting.
frosting down.
They need to be a
people's
lot
you,
throats.
bigger.
Could you
Those cupcakes need to be
could you
bigger,
fill
more
those
offensive.
cupcakes
Yes,
with
more
some
in your
jelly?
face.
Yeah.
You
You
know,
shape them like dicks, and
Maybe
then they'll,
they could be
put all the
Boston
butter-
cream and let's garnish them with some seaweed.
Or we'll load a truck full of cupcakes and blow it up.
So yeah, I guess since we had to go and make all these cupcakes look like giant dicks, that's it. 50
Clearly.
episodes of wonderful film.
Yay!
Thank you, Shawn and Kathy, for doing this.
Thank you for having us.
You know,
Yeah.
we're gonna keep going.
Good times.
You know, hopefully this is the worst movie we ever have to sit through as far as violence.
Yeah.
But I guess I don't.
We'll see.
We'll see. There's always
There's always more.
people are capable of things.
Oh, so many things.
so many things,
And especially when they have
You know.
their own money to finance their own production.
and no one is saying no.
And no one says no.
Yeah. No one says no.
That's when
Good
there's a
job.
problem.
And that's the moral of the story.
Yeah.
Moral of the
See
story.
you guys.
Good night. Bye. Matt's gonna smile soon.
Maybe.
You have just listened to Bonus Disc. Questions, comments, and movie suggestions can be posted to facebook.com/bonusdisc. Opinions and criticisms of the hosts and guests of Bonus Disc are 100% valid because they sit high atop Judgment Mountain. So quit your whining.